The second element that we see is that he has a bow. He says here in 2 Thessalonians, I'm going to continue reading in Revelation chapter 6 and verse number 2. It says, "And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow." Now, what does this tell us? You say, "Oh, you're looking too much into it." No, I believe this is not here by accident. I don't think it's a coincidence that it's telling us that he has this specific weapon. What I believe this is telling us is that this is the type of assailant that he's going to be. So in Revelation 13, when he comes back from the dead because he is possessed by Satan himself, he's going to make war with the saints. And at that point, according to the Bible, we're going to know who he is. Whereas in Revelation chapter 6, he's using a bow that's not a close quarter weapon. It's a weapon that's used from a distant location. In other words, we won't know who he is. Okay? A bow and arrow is a ranged weapon used to attack from a distant location. Now you say, well, that doesn't mean anything though. You know, how does that prove that we won't know who he is? Well, you know what? Even in the Bible, in 1 Kings chapter 22, when you have Ahab going to war, you have the specific verse there about his assailant, the person who kills him. It says, "And a certain man drew a bow at a venture and smote him between the joints of the harness." What man? Well, a certain man. We don't know who it is. He's an unnamed assailant who used the bow to kill the king, right? Well, in like manner, this is what the Antichrist is going to do. When he goes forth conquering and to conquer, we don't know who he is. And in fact, he is an unknown anomaly to the general public. Okay? Because he's using a bow. He's using this from afar off. Now let's further prove this from the Bible. Look at verse number 3 of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. It says here, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come." What day? Referring to the rapture, the gathering together, the second coming. "Shall not come except there come a falling away first." What is a falling away? It's referring to apostasy, false doctrine. This is the fact. This is basically showing us that there's going to be a one world religion, this ecumenical movement that's going to seek to, go away from biblical Christianity and seek to worship the beast. It says, "There come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." By the way, a commercial break here. This is why the pre-tribulation rapture is such a stupid doctrine, it's such a fraud, because it's telling us here that these events precede the second coming of Christ. It's telling us that the falling away first has to happen, the man of sin has to be revealed, and then the gathering together, and then the second coming. And look, let no man deceive you by any means. So any person who tries to come to you and tell you, no, the coming of Christ is imminent, they're a deceiver. They're deceiving you. It's a deception. You see, the coming of Christ is not imminent, but the coming of the Antichrist is. He can come at any moment. And this is why the pre-tribulation rapture doctrine is being fomented from the pulpits of America today, because of this Antichrist Zionist agenda that is seeking to set up a platform for the New World Order and for the Antichrist to come at any moment. So that when he is imminent, when his coming is present, people will receive him as their Savior. Okay? So it says there, "And that man of sin be revealed." Now, when is that? Is it in Revelation 6 verse 2? No. Because it tells us in verse number 4, "Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." Now, folks, when does that happen on the prophetic timetable? It happens when he receives a deadly wound to the head, and his deadly wound is healed. He resurrects, he's possessed, and what happens? He goes into the third temple and proclaims himself to be God. At which point the abomination of desolation is set up, and you know, at that point we know this is the guy. This is the man. We cannot know prior to that it's him. We can conjecture, we can speculate, we can observe current events that are taking place and potentially say, man, maybe this is the person, but at the end of the day, we're not going to know 100% until he's possessed by Satan and he proclaims himself to be God.